So we just got out the bay, just got a mainsail up now. That's all we need for breakfast really, and in a bit I'll probably break out the code 0. The wind's doing 7-8 knots and it's on a close reach at the moment, so it should be perfect sailing up there, you know, but we don't want the boat too heeled over while we're eating breakfast. That's not a good idea. Yeah, it looks like it's the start of a beautiful day again. The clouds will come probably. Breakfast is served and I've got the perfect solution to navigate also. The iPad's right there so I can see exactly where we're going. Nice. Thank you, Sarah. Having a beautiful sail up north now, just about to turn the corner from the Fjärden out here. But now the wind has got up, it's 13 knots of wind and we're doing 6 knots more or less, just with the code 0 out, so that's pretty awesome. But usually I run the main sheet on this winch here. I always wrap the main sheet round the back winch here because if the boat gets overloaded or overpowered, you know, you've always got that line ready to release, and you can depower the boat if you can't turn in any direction. But when we're running with the code 0, actually I run the halyard to the code 0 around this one, because actually with the code 0, especially when you're going downwind, you have to release the halyard a little bit to open the front of the sail up. So I leave that halyard on this side. And then actually you can see over there, I have the main sheet on the other side instead. Usually the jib sheet is on the starboard winch over there. It's a good way of sailing, I think, is just be prepared for the worst. If you get a really bad gust, then you're ready to release those sheets if you need to. I mean, especially around the Stockholm archipelago, you can be stuck in a very tight channel. So it can be very good to just depower the boat rather than get yourself into a tight situation. So another reason why we have the halyard of the code 0 around this winch as well is if we need to get the code 0 in very quickly, if the winds are blowing up, if we have the halyard loose, we need to tighten that up before we start furling the sail, because it's not a good furl on the sail if the shape of the front of the sail is bowing out. Basically it needs to be tight so you can get a good wrap on the furler there, and then it's fairly easy to take in. Actually we furled it in at 16 knots of wind, I think, up to 16 knots, and it was still okay actually, but any more than that I don't think you'd want to fly the sail. This was the last time we flew this sail before disaster struck. It's taken me an hour or two after getting in here and just to record this video, because I'm a little bit upset about it, and Tanya is also. I've unfortunately got the worst news ever. I mean, our brand new sail, the brand new code 0, has unfortunately ripped in half today. I was trying to go through a channel and As I was coming out the other side of the channel, it was quite a narrow channel, and the wind changed and it backwinded the sail. It backwinded it only for a few seconds, and then it came onto back onto the same tack again. As soon as it came on the right tack, basically it just tore in half from leech to luff. We just had to get the sail down basically and just lash it to the side of the boat as it is now. Devastated, really. The wind was blowing like 8 knots, and it probably gusted a little bit, and something happened. I don't quite know yet. We'll have to lay out the sail and see and have a look at the rip and see when it started and how it happened. And it's a real shame. I really love this sail. We'll send the sail back and see whether it can be repaired or not. It's difficult to repair the Code Zero because of the shape of it, you know. They need to really pull it from like 3 angles to see whether the shape can be kept after the repair. And we'll see whether we can get this sail back or not. More or less 5,000 euros on a sail, and then you lose it, and it's yeah, it's pretty painful. I mean, there is insurance, yes, but it's still very painful at the same time. Before the wind picks up tomorrow, actually, we're just going to try and wrap up the sail as best we can and get it in the sail bag. Otherwise it's going to be impossible to do out in the archipelago here in a clean space. Just dropped the girls off at Grinda. They are going back to Denmark, and then Tanya's going to get on board on the other side of the island. But it's very, very windy today. It's blowing 18 knots at the moment, and it was a tricky drop-off, I can tell you that. Let's take a look at that now.
This manoeuvre had to be done quickly, as I didn't want the wind to blow Aurora sideways onto the dock and get pinned there. You can see here that she started to drift to starboard, and I abandoned this attempt, as if anything I wanted it to go to port so I could use the channel as an escape.
Hey guys, the wind's been heavy, to be honest, and the clouds have been here and the rain's been here, and there's been a heavy side wind, and sometimes it's just nice to stay in one place and just chill out and relax and just take care of the boat a little bit, do a few jobs. And also, you know, I've been a bit down, as I told you before, about the Code Zero thing and everything, you know, but I'm starting to come out the other side of it now, and it's knocked my confidence a bit. As a sailor, to be honest, and rightfully so. Good morning, everybody. We haven't moved in like 4 days, and the rain continues, you know, so yeah, Swedish summer for you. But today we need a change of scenery, so we're going to sail anyway, and hopefully the rain should ease off a bit later on, so we'll see. But we're going to go with our friends. They have an X-yacht in front, but without a bow thruster, and the wind is blowing us onto the pontoon, so we're going to go out first so they can back up and then swing her out and follow us out. Have a good sail. You're having a good sail.
No. It's wet.
But our friends are just back there. They've got an X-Yacht 43, I think. But they've got a lot more sail area than we have, so I think they might catch us up down this fjärden. They just caught us up because we had to take some reefs in, basically. The wind was getting up to 18, 19 knots. It was a bit overpowered, so we ended up slightly off course upwind. But we took the reefs in. So we haven't got that much sail up at the moment, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get some bit more jib out in a second. So yesterday was a really interesting sail actually, and we had a little bit of a race with an X-Yachts X43 over there, Xena. As I've said before many times, you know, with this Hansa, it struggles in the light winds, just with the main and the self-tacking jib, so they caught up with us probably half a mile in the light winds, but then when the wind started to get up, sort of past 12 knots, 12 to 14 knots, then they were more or less doing the same speed, 8.5, sometimes 9 knots, you know, but then we got overpowered actually a little bit, so we had to take a reef, and then we lost a lot of speed and they caught up and overtook us. So yeah, but it is, that X43 over there is a very, very fast boat, and if you want a real sailor's boat, I think X-Yachts is something to look at. They're made in Denmark. I think it weighs something like 7 or 8 tons, whereas this weighs like 10 or 11 tons. So there's a little bit of a difference, but it was an interesting contrast between the two boats. And to be honest, I think he's a better sailor than me, which isn't hard to achieve. So you need to be, I think, a better sailor than the average to actually handle a boat like that really effectively, and I'm learning a lot. I mean, guys, just look at that racing profile spray hood there. It looks like a Ferrari of the sailing world, that's for sure. Everything is just designed for racing pretty much on an X-Yacht. You know, the carbon big wheel, the traveller and the main sheet, just all in the cockpit there. There's a lot of adjustments and a lot of cool things you can do under sail with that boat, that's for sure.
Moment of truth with this quiche attempt.
I mean, most of the stuff went off, right? So it's probably going to kill us, but it looks good.
No, it was met so many new people that have become really friends over this summer holiday, and it's always sad to when you have to say goodbye, but now said goodbye to Michaela and Emil and Stella and their cat Phil. I've been out 7 weeks now, so it's time for them to go back, and actually it's time for us to go back. Anyway, it's Thursday in our last week of the holiday. It's always interesting to see if I can actually come back on the boat. But today it looks good. Okay, Chris, I'm on. All lines off. Oh, that went smoothly. Without falling in the water.
So we just come out of the Moya Channel, and the wind is blowing 22 knots. And I could tack on a little bit of main or a little bit of jib up here, but sometimes it's just not worth getting the sails out for a short journey and stressing the sails, you know. We need to also make some power as well, so we just got a motor to the next location. It's just, sometimes it's nice and easy just to use that iron horse. Yes.
You get 2 because they're thin. Processing the coldness.
Just get in.
I'm processing the coldness. Here it goes. It neither gets warmer or colder by standing here, so last anchor bubbles. Woo!
Well, we just arrived in a place called Lordna, And in this area, actually, it's towards like the middle north of the archipelago, sort of. You can find a lot of nice bays in this little area, and a lot of protected spots. I mean, still out there right now, it's still blowing like 18, 20 knots of wind, and in here, nothing. Now there's only a few boats in here. It's getting towards the end of August, so everybody's gone home and they're starting work this week. So it's actually kind of nice at the end of the season when you can get out and it's less busy and you don't have to be so stressed in finding a place and leaving early and getting to a place so you can get a good spot. Good morning, guys. Tanya's off for a morning swim right now. But check out the weather. It's the first time we've seen sun in days and it's awesome. Really nice to get in, honey. Come on. We had feelings over the last few days that we really kind of wanted to go in, actually. Going to Stockholm, that it... How would you do that? Look! You managed to wet me all the way at the spray hood.
It's a skill of mine.
Now, as you can see, last night I killed a lot of these little mosquitoes and threw them into the sink here. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's basically a solution to store all the rubbish in there in the front anchor locker, and at the moment it is extremely full down there. If you're considering buying a dinghy up here in Scandinavia and you've got not too many people to ferry around, then I wouldn't bother buying a really big dinghy or anything like that, because you might not use it so much. It depends where you are though. I'm not saying don't buy a dinghy, but you might get limited use out of it depending on where you're going. Most of the time you can always go against the shore wherever you're traveling in the Stockholm archipelago. You go further afield, of course, it's always nice to have on standby. We're going to move the boat into town, into Stockholm, and then we're going to work from there for a week, because I need to go to the office, Tanya needs to go to the office, so why not just hang around in Stockholm for a week? I mean, you know, we haven't got a home at the moment, so we may as well just plant ourselves somewhere convenient, right? We're about the only boat that's heading into Stockholm. All the other boats out there are coming out for the weekend. It feels a bit strange. It should be us, but... Oh, wind's changed. Look at that, guys. Directly over Stockholm. I think we're gonna get wet sooner or later. Got some rowers on the starboard side. Have you heard of something called the yellow car game? We're playing the yellow boat. No, yellow boat. There's one feature that I haven't actually used that much on this boat actually, and it's called the wind hold on the autopilot. And you can see that you just set the apparent wind angle that you want it to keep, and then it will just keep that, so that your speed will kind of always remain high, and then you can get as close to the wind as you can, and you can just follow the wind. And maybe I should use this more often actually, because we're keeping like a steady 5.3 knots in 9 knots of wind now, because it's constantly following the wind.
Cold in here.
Stockholm. It's always beautiful weather here. There's Gröna Lund just to the right of us. It's the Tivoli in Stockholm, or the fairground in Stockholm. Really back in civilization now. Feels weird. Do we have a bit of a problem?
I would say so.
Seems to be, the weight seems to be in certain products. We're in the middle of Stockholm and we have like the best view of the whole city, I think. We can see like the whole of Strandvägen just behind us, where all the rich apartments are basically over here. And you always see a lot of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, that kind of thing, just cruising along this road, because there's a lot of money on this street, I can tell you that. But look, the sun's just come out. We're in the middle of the city. We've just got a fantastic view. I think it's going to be fun living here for a week. Yeah, we're making do with blankets at the moment, you know. And yeah, we thought, well, we're not going to bring a duvet because it will be super warm and everything, but we failed to plan for the end of August, beginning of September, because that's when it starts to drop off in Stockholm, or in Sweden actually. It starts to get a bit colder, so. Hey honey.
Hey.
It's a few days later actually, and we've been on this dock now for almost the whole week. It's now a Friday, so we've done a work week here actually. This morning was a bit interesting actually. I got woken up when the boat next door, I just heard a lot of bow thruster going, and people fending off our boat. So, you know, I had a company event last night, so I had a bit of a hangover this morning, and got up and realized that the rope had got wrapped round their propeller, 2 ropes actually. So yeah, I dived in and then cut all the ropes off and everything like that. And actually it's really tough to get ropes off the propeller once they've been wound around there, because they're wound around so tight with the engine. So I had to make like multiple cuts underneath, but luckily the water was still a bit warm. It's still 17 degrees, so it's okay for like 20 minutes to half an hour to be in the water. So luckily there was a nice warm shower close by anyway, so it wasn't too bad. That's it for our summer now. We're just going to take the boat back to Svinninga, I think, and then we're going to live at a friend's house for the winter time. What can I say? Thanks very much for following us, and yeah, it's always nice to share good content with you, well, hopefully good content, and hear your comments and suggestions and things like that. I would say it's been a pretty successful season, you know. Apart from the loss of the Code Zero, I'm pretty cut up about that still, but you know, that's the way it is. You live and you learn, right? Now check this out, guys. It's the water bus that drives on land also. So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to try out if you're in Stockholm. Yeah, and it was super nice of these guys to give us a bottle of wine actually, and for the help I gave them this morning. And actually the marina came to me also and said, oh, thanks very much for helping out and everything, because they were calling a diver actually, and I said, look, you know, I can just go in and cut that thing free. So we got a few days of free mooring, which is nice actually. If you like this video, drop us a like, and I'll see you throughout the winter. I'm sure we'll be doing some videos, so yeah, take care. Thanks again. See you later, guys. Bye now.
Well, thanks very much for watching our channel, guys, and as you can probably tell, there's a lot of effort and there's a lot of equipment used on this channel to do our production. So if you feel like supporting us, please join us on Patreon or drop us a donation on PayPal. Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.